Yo, what it do? It is your boy J-Rod, and I'm back popping with the crew. How are we doing today? So today, we got ourselves a little video. Honestly, I don't even really know what this video is. Keeping it real with y'all, man. Like, I knew I had to get some playoff videos up on the channel. I know I haven't been really doing too much of playoff reviews. And I do apologize for that. I was going to say no excuses, but then I knew I was going to go on to list excuses. So let me go on to list those excuses for you. So, one excuse is schoolwork's been piling up. You know, this is the last, I got like 2 weeks pretty much of school. I got finals coming up, so it's a lot being thrown my way. And B, I didn't want to make the same type of content that everyone else was making. You know, it seems like every sports/NBA content creator is making videos about the playoffs, and they're sort of repeating the same stuff over and over. So I didn't want to be that guy to be very repetitive. But I guess that's kind of what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm gonna tell y'all what I've been seeing throughout these playoff series. I've actually been able to watch a good amount of the games. So I am going to give you some pretty accurate stuff that I realized. Now, I'm not going to be going over too much about the first round. I might do a little bit of each. I mean, yeah, why not? You know, let's get into sort of my first round reaction. So you can see here, I have pretty much every single matchup right except for the Mavs against the Utah Jazz. I thought that the Mavs not having Luka Doncic was going to affect them a lot more than it did in reality for those first 2 or 3 games. They were able to get, I think, was it 2 wins without Luka? It was either 1 or 2 wins they got without Luka, which was absolutely huge. Especially for the home court advantage, and then they went on to beat the Utah Jazz in 6 games. So the Utah Jazz, they got to blow it up next season. Whether it's Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, they got to change something with that team because they can't just keep coming back to the playoffs and having that same unproductive team. And the Mavs, I mean, it's good to see that Jalen Brunson is finally getting his flowers. I've been a big fan of Jalen Brunson for a while now. If you have seen my rebuild videos in the past, I had one where I was gassing up Jalen Brunson. Good to see that he finally had his opportunity here to showcase his talents. And yeah, the Mavs are a scary team. I mean, they really can make a run. I know the Utah Jazz aren't, you know, I think they're one of the weakest teams that probably made it to the Western Conference. So in that aspect, I don't want to gas up the Dallas Mavericks too much, but I mean, I like what they're doing this year. I think Jason Kidd is actually doing a really good job as head coach. All right, and then we had the Suns against the New Orleans Pelicans. Shout out to the Pelicans. You know, you go 3-16 to start the season. You go on to make the play-in tournament, win 2 games in a row, and then push the Phoenix Suns into 6 games without Zion for the whole season. So, I mean, if Zion could just stay healthy next year and play on this Pelicans team, this is a team that could sort of do like what the Memphis Grizzlies did this year and just become the team that they have the potential to be. And then we had the Warriors against the Nuggets. I got that one exactly right. The Warriors in 5 games. I really don't have too much to say about that. Jordan Poole was absolutely disgusting. And the Denver Nuggets just got to look to make sure Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are healthy next year, and they could be a really good team. And then we had the Memphis Grizzlies against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I got this one right with Memphis in 6, although this is a series that really should have went 7 games. I mean, Minnesota, they blew away so many opportunities, and this is one of the big worries I had about the Minnesota Timberwolves is that even in the regular season, especially in that first half of the season when they didn't have too great of a record, they had so many games where they'd be up by like 10, 15, 20 points, and then they just blow the lead. And although I did think that would transcend to the playoffs, I didn't think it would be at the level it was at. I mean, it happens pretty much every single game the Grizzlies won. They were down at least almost 10 points. It was absolutely ridiculous, but shout out for the Grizzlies for fighting back. And the Timberwolves, I think you could run it back with the same team. I know there's some trade talks about D'Angelo Russell because he didn't play too great in the playoffs. I mean, I think it all depends on when you get back for D'Angelo Russell. I don't think you just trade him to trade him. You know, I think you got to be able to get yourself a capable starting guard next year to replace him and maybe some draft capital or some other stuff. But yeah. And then we go on to the Heat versus the Hawks. Don't have too much to say here. Trae Young struggled against this Miami Heat defense, and I had Miami in 4. The Hawks were able to get 1 game, which I was a little bit surprised with. But yeah, we move on to next. We had Sixers Raptors. Shout out to the Raptors, able to make it to the playoffs as a 5 seed, even though they weren't even projected to make the playoffs at the beginning of the season. So that in itself is impressive. And then to take Philly to 6 games is also impressive. And we had the Bucks against the Bulls. I had the Bucks in 4. It ended up being them in 5. Don't really have too much to say about that. Bulls dealt with some injuries a little bit. I mean, regardless, the Bucks would have went away with the series. So I guess I don't really have too much to say there. And then the Celtics Nets. I already made a video on that. Absolutely insane. The sweep. That still is insane to me. So it looks like so far I got 1, 2, 3 picks 100% correct, in which I got the teams and the amount of games, which I think is actually pretty good out of 8. Finally, here we are. So for the second round matchups, now every single series, 1 game has been played so far. By the time this video comes out, the Celtics will be playing tonight, as well as the Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies. But yeah, I want to start off with the Suns Mavs. Watch game 1. I like the Suns in this series. You know, the Mavs are definitely going to cause problems. I could see this series going to 6, maybe even 7. Booker is finally looking really good and healthy again. I was a little bit worried about him because he didn't look too great in game 6 against the Pelicans. Came here, bounced back. He looks healthy again. I think the biggest part for the Mavs here is going to be Dorian Finney-Smith when it comes to the defensive side of the court. I think Dorian Finney-Smith, if he could just do even a good job at stopping Devin Booker for like 5 possessions where I don't know, that was such like a random number. I don't know, as long as Dorian Finney-Smith could like really make Booker struggle, because Booker's going to get his buckets. You know, no matter how good of defense you're going to play, he's going to get his buckets. But if he could just make him struggle, I mean, that's going to be huge. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about, especially before when the playoffs started, they were talking about, oh, this Mavs team isn't going to work because they got 3 ball-dominant guards, and none of them are really good off the ball, which, although that's, I mean, I wouldn't say that they're not good off the ball, but although that's not where their game thrives, all 3 guards thrive with the ball in their hands, they all play differently. It almost works in a sense, because you got Luka Doncic, who is just like everything. He playmakes, scores, gets to the basket, hit threes, mid-range. He could do everything. You got Jalen Brunson, who is sort of like I'm a break you down type of guard, and I'm going to get to my spot. And then you got Spencer Dinwiddie, who's just a guard that attacks the hoop. He's just constantly attacking, fast-paced. So, like, these 3 guard lineups, it works because, like I said, you got Luka, the slow-paced sort of guard who's going to go to find a spot. You got Jalen Brunson, who will, you know, look to get you up and on your toes. And then you got, you know, Spencer Dinwiddie, who's always looking to attack. So, I just repeated that twice in a row. Like, I literally just repeated that. But you get what I'm trying to say. It actually ends up working out. For the Suns here, DeAndre Ayton's got to step up because no center on this Mavs team is going to be able to hold with DeAndre Ayton. So DeAndre Ayton's got to be very dominant with the ball, just like the game in which the Suns didn't have Devin Booker and he dropped, I think it was like 26 points or something like that. Ayton's just got to say, hey, give me the ball. Let me take it on Dwight fucking Powell and get some buckets on his head top. And if it's not Dwight Powell and it's Maxi Kleber or Davis Bertans, just do the same thing because none of them could guard you. And then we have the Warriors against the Grizzlies. I don't have too much to say about the series. Warriors in 6. I'm sticking with that prediction. Maybe it goes 7. I just think, you know, Jordan Poole is just playing absolutely amazing. The Warriors have the experience. It's good to see that they're finally playing Jonathan Kuminga. But the X factor for the Grizzlies here is going to be Jaren Jackson. In game 1, he looked absolutely amazing. It's good to see that he finally had a productive offensive game. As long as Jaren Jackson could stay on the court and not get in foul trouble and produce offensively, then this Grizzlies team has a really good chance to win the series. I just don't know how much I trust Jaren Jackson to have, you know, the 4 really good games that they need out of him to make it out of the series. And then we got the Miami Heat against the 76ers. I am telling you, man, PJ Tucker has been the biggest offseason addition this team made, and probably one of the biggest offseason pickups any team has made. And I know that's such like PJ Tucker, dude, the guy who averages like 3 points and sits in the corner the whole game. Yes, dude, because obviously the defense, we all know that, but like a lot of the teams he's playing against, he knows of these teams and players. The 76ers, this matchup right here, he played with Harden for years. There were so many possessions in game 1 where he's matched up against James Harden, and he just knows what he's doing. So he's pickpocketing him. He's, playing that aggressive defense. He's throwing James Harden off guard. And then if they make it out of this series alive, they go against the Bucks, who he was just on their team last season and won a championship with them. So damn well he knows what the Bucks want to do offensively and defensively. So PJ Tucker is just such a big addition for this Miami Heat team when it comes to the overall, basketball IQ and how they want to attack each and every team. Yeah, I got Miami at 5. I know you guys are, and this was before the Joel Embiid injury. Now, especially with the Joel Embiid injury, I am very confident in Miami Heat in 5. Like I said, it's just something about the Sixers team. I don't like the lineups that Doc Rivers has been throwing out, especially in this game 1. He just loves DeAndre Jordan. He thinks he has the prime Clippers DeAndre Jordan where he could be like a lob to James Harden, which he just isn't. James Harden maybe gave DeAndre Jordan the ball like 2 or 3 times the whole game. He's just not going to produce for you offensively. He's not going to produce for you defensively because he can't move. It's just rough. And their best lineups are when they do small ball, but Doc Rivers just hates doing small ball lineups because he's stuck in his old ways or something like that. And I don't want to blame this series on Doc Rivers because I do think, the Joel Embiid injury is huge and they do lack the bench depth that they really need for an injury like that. So I don't want to put too much on him, but at the same time, there were some questionable lineups I saw out there. I also feel like James Harden he needs to turn back the clock, but it's just not the same James Harden. He's just struggling to get to the basket. He had game 1 he had a couple tough and ones. He got to the rack a few times, but he just doesn't have that same quick first step, especially against a Miami Heat defense like this. I think Tyrese Maxey needs to be sort of how he was in those first couple of games against the Raptors, where he's just confident and taking the most shots on the team. Because there was a couple times where I was looking at Tyrese Maxey, I'm like, take it on your own, man. Just attack the hoop, and then he would pass it up to James Harden or Tobias Harris, and I'd be like, dude, just attack the basket, Maxey. Tobias Harris did good in game 1, but like I said, I don't know how much I rely on Tobias Harris to go out there and get, be the number 1 option on a team in the second round of the playoffs. And Miami, I have no more worries about their offense anymore. I just think Tyler Hero has been absolutely phenomenal. Even guys who aren't the most productive offensive players are still going out there and putting in work, like Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin. Even though they're not going to get you 15 points, they might get you a quiet 8 to 10 points in like 12 or 15 minutes. That is really impactful, because the Miami Heat just has so much depth. They have so many guys they could throw at you defensively. Like literally every single guy that comes off their bench is just providing something of high class. And then we have the Bucks against the Celtics. Celtics shit the bed game 1. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, especially Jaylen Brown, were really struggling. I don't think we'll see games like that from them again. I think they step up and do better. But this Bucks team is completely different from the Nets team. I think they were trying to guard Giannis the same way they guarded KD by, sending one guy at him in the post and trying to be physical. But being physical on Giannis is not the same as KD. I'll tell you that, because he will throw it off the backboard and yam it on your motherfucking head. And that's exactly what happened in this game. And Giannis didn't even have to have the best game. Honestly, he struggled a lot in that first half. And it was just the role players, the other guys who stepped up. And Giannis is really just becoming such, like, we already know how great and phenomenal he is, but you could just see that maturity. He almost plays like LeBron now, in the sense that, like, he knows when he needs to go out and take his shots, and then he knows when he doesn't need to, and he could be more laid back. Like, I was watching this game, I was like, Giannis is not as aggressive as I thought, because, like, in the past times where Chris Middleton has gotten injured, he would just go out there and be like, okay, I got to take, 25, 30 shot attempts, take it to the rack, and all you'd have to do is build a wall and stop him, sort of like Miami Heat did back 2 years ago when they swept the Bucks. Now Giannis is like, okay, let me have the other players get to their spots. Let me try send off-ball screens so we could get a wide-open Grayson Allen to hit a shot, which he did a few times. So Giannis is just becoming a really good player when it comes to just you know, having that playoff experience and knowing how to break down defenses. And although our defense wasn't bad at all, I thought it was actually pretty good. I do think we need to play Giannis in a different way than we did against KD. We also need to stop the transition. And offensively, I mean, we just got to make our shots. You know, there's a lot of shots that were wide open that we were just missing. It really wasn't our night. I think we shot 50 3-pointers and made 16 of them. And the Bucks are that type of team which they'll give you the 3-point shots. Like, they want you to take the 3. And even though we're not necessarily a great 3-point shooting team, like, I don't really think we have any shooters necessarily on the team, it doesn't mean we don't have guys that can't make 3-point shots. So I think we just got to keep taking those shots. Hopefully they fall in for us. And try and get to the line and attack the basket, which we kind of were trying to do, but Brook Lopez was just an absolute beast when it came to guarding the interior defense. But yeah, I want a Game 7. That's out of any of these series, I want a Game 7. We haven't seen one yet, which is surprising. There's usually at least one in the first round. We need a Game 7, and I'm going to make sure to keep giving you guys updates of the playoffs. But that was sort of just my thoughts so far from what I saw in the first round and what I plan to see in the second round. But if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications so you do not miss any future videos. Love y'all, man, and peace.